and welcome to the noon meeting, thank you very much, of the San Diego Downtown Lions Club. Our pledge and prayer today will be done by Jonathan Green, badge number 150. Jonathan?
Address the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, Lions. Today, my prayer is a prayer of being grateful. May we be grateful. We are blessed today with enough to eat. May we be grateful. We are blessed with clothes to wear. May we be grateful. We are blessed with shelter from the elements. May we be grateful. We are very well blessed today. May we remember that there are many people who do not have these blessings. May we be grateful enough to help others when we can.
As I said, Jonathan is badge 150. Jonathan is with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater San Diego, and his sponsor was Ken Bitterman. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Our chair of the day, badge number 67, Charlie Severia. Charlie is our first vice president, and in another 59 days. But who's counting? Charlie is with Any Budget Printing, joined us in '99, and was sponsored by... Very good, very, very good. As I said earlier, Charlie is first vice president. Our speaker will be formally introduced in a little while. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to some of our guests. Pat, my understanding is you're gonna introduce a guest for us?
Thank you, President Clarence and fellow Lions. Our guest today is John Kosich, JD, as he is known in the vernacular. He's actually here at the request of our first vice president, but since he's up there and got many, many other tasks today, I was asked to introduce him, but I find out he's a retired deputy sheriff, and for 29 years he chased bad guys around and took care of our community in a very fine way. So welcome, John.
And the good Dr. Fred Orton.
President Clarence, fellow Lions, and guests, my guest is CEO of Operation Homefront. Please welcome Laura Mustari. Laura?
Stand up and say it right. And you
What?
said it right. Find this guy. My phone stock.
What if I find both of them?
That sounds like an excellent, excellent idea. Well, find George for leaving too.
This is not fair. This is not right. It is something our guests will know.
Nobody said life was fair, though, George.
That is a true thing, particularly when you're George Seda.
This is not the right way.
Good afternoon. I'm Laura Mustari. I'm the CEO for Homestar.
Well, what we're going to do, Fred, is we're going to rescind your doctorate. We have decided that one cannot be a candidate for such a high degree when we can't get names right, Dr. Stedman. Thank you very much. No, I was saying we were rescinding it. Oh, okay. If I had 3 months left, can I do it, Fred? No. Oh, okay. I would like to really take a moment and thank Phyllis Barber. Hey. Here.
May I say something? You know, this event would not have happened without Rona, you know, going out, getting all the auction items, and Pam helping her put that all together. And for everyone, you know, it was a team effort. It just wasn't me, and we just couldn't have done it without the team that I had. And also Ken for the wonderful program.
Yes, he did.
I
That was
call
great.
that our Cliff Notes for new members. So thanks.
And Ken, take a special thanks to Mary Ellen. That was just wonderful layout. It's a great job all the way around. And since we're on that, I might as well thank a few other Lions that just, your performance superb. It was a wonderful evening. We brought in our 90th with the style and flair, and this is the last time you'll hear me say it for a while, that Finney Packard would have loved.
George.
He's a member that joined with you, George, don't you remember? Well, that's true, because you and he didn't get along well. So Finney won out. What can I tell you, George?
I mean, with a name like Finney.
Yeah, too bad it couldn't be Seda, huh? Boy, some people's children. Again, many thanks. Even our new member, Yvonne Hunt, was there, pitching right in. It was quite the affair, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Gogg, Kathleen Baldwin, Dave Spizak, Larry Newmar, and Pat were also members of that great committee that we put it on. Rona Gorder and Pam Myers are also two people I want to single out for just really bringing it. The setup, the work, the tables, the entire arrangement was just above and beyond. And again, certainly it was an excellent tribute to us and to our 90 years of continued performance in the San Diego charity arena. Kathleen, where are you? Kathleen Baldwin. She's supposed to be talking about Camp Jack. Can anyone give us an overview on Camp Jack? Vicki?
Kathleen wanted to remind everybody that it's not too late to pledge for the year, your pledge to serve. And if you could be so kind as to designate your pledge to Lions Camp Jack so that they can hold a second week this year, then I'm sure she would be extremely grateful. Thank you.
And Teresa, thank you not only for the wonderful solo that you led us in, but also for taking our money today. Thank you. The cards on the table are for condolences to our long and honored member, Fred Arnold, who's, as a matter of fact, where is Dor? Where are you, Dor? Thank you. Would you come up, Dor, and give us a little input on Fred?
Thank you, President Clarence, fellow Lions and guests. I made an announcement 2 or 3 weeks ago, excuse me, about Fred's wife, who had been struggling with Alzheimer's for several years and had been diagnosed with cancer and Fred was advised that it was terminal. That 2 or 3 weeks wasn't very long ago. She passed away Saturday evening. And the cards, as President Clarence mentioned, are for you to send to Fred, one of our old-time, most beloved members. The service for Marge will be a week from today. Be a funeral mass at Immaculate Conception, the Catholic Church in Old Town at 2540 San Diego Avenue, I believe it is. There'll be a reception following at the home of Fred's youngest daughter, Jody. She lives in Liberty Station. In case you want to make a note of it, I have the address here. It's 2987 West Porter Road in Liberty Station, Point Loma, the old Naval Training Center. For all of those who can, I'm sure Fred would appreciate your attendance at that funeral mass and the other event, the reception. The burial will be at the military cemetery at Miramar the same day at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you.
What time's the mass again?
10 o'clock. That's a little bit tentative. Check your Jungle Breeze. Fred and I have talked 2 or 3 times since her death, and the day is firm, the time was a little iffy, but he was pretty sure it would work. But check your Jungle Breeze for the final word on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dora. Kim.
Yes. Our eyeglass donation event will be held May 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If anyone here in the room can help, I would really appreciate it. Let me know. The prescription eyeglasses and prescription and regular sunglasses. So if you have sunglasses, even if they don't have a prescription, they can be used. They use the frames. So I hope that we'll get people in the neighborhood, but also in to see our building and learn a bit about us, but also collect a lot of glasses so we can help some people that are less fortunate see better. Thank you.
At this time, our first Vice President, Charlie, will introduce our guests. Before Charlie comes up, I have a key to sell back to one of our members. I don't think you're going to get your Honda started without this, so you might consider purchasing it back. That's even better. That's even better. What do I get for a loaded Honda? And the way I know it's loaded, because all of the arming devices are right here on it, folks. This is Cadillac style. Can I hear $1? And George, shut the hell up. Can I hear $5?
It may not be ours, they just found it out in front of the building.
So none of us are going to buy this stranger out of debt?
You don't even know where the car is.
That's true. Again, anyone missing a auto entry for a Honda, here it is.
Thank you, President Clarence. You said it was 59 days. It's actually 61. We're counting, okay? And we're really counting down now after that. So he's trying to sell somebody's car key. Whose car key is it? That's the question. So, what is going on here? Our president has completely lost control of this group, folks. Before I introduce our guest speaker today, I want to bring your attention to the cards on the table announcing our de-installation when we get rid of Clarence. I mean, Clarence's last day as president of this great group will be on June 30th, and hopefully all can make it. If Pete Singer could stand up, please. Past President Pete. He's wearing the outfit that you need to wear to our luau that we're going to have up on the roof on June 30th. And Pete, I appreciate you modeling that for us today. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, Charlie. Hey, you know, I tried calling for tickets and the number's disconnected. What's
No,
that?
and my phone did not ring, so please do. But yeah, if anybody wants to buy tickets, I'm available after the meeting, and I'll have them available next week too. Hopefully everyone will make it. We tried to make it affordable so everybody can come. So show of hands, who's going to come on June 30th?
Okay.
And bring your family, friends, everybody. Kids, John, you bring the kids, okay? No charge for the kids. Got it.
Now, Charlie, I
Yes.
have a question.
I'm not the programmer.
I'm just hoping that we don't have to make checks out to you personally for this party. Is that?
Only for the printing. And by the way, just to, now that you brought that up, I want to point out, whoever printed those programs for the 90th ball did such an amazing job, Phyllis, so thank you. I'm telling you, they came out fantastic. Absolutely beautiful.
They did, and you had,
Whoever printed them did a great job.
and they gave us a good price.
Excellent. Whoever that was.
Hey, get ready for a year-long commercial.
Enough about me and Clarence, by the way. Now it's time for me to introduce our guest speaker today. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker. And just real quick, let you know, I met him at a Chamber of Commerce event, and I watched his program and his talk that day, and I said to myself, and then I even said to him afterwards, man, you should come and speak to our Lions Club. So he's here today. He came all the way down from Irvine, and he's going to talk to us about how to clear your negative business karma, or karma in general, right? How to clear that negative karma. So, fellow Lions, gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Joe Nunziata, right here.
Thank you. I'm going to come down here. I hope this is on. Okay, I'm going to come down here because I like to be closer to the people. But I want to thank you, Charlie, for having me come out, and thank all of you for being here today. Can you tell from my accent that I'm not from California? Okay, you can tell right away, right? What's that? New York? Yeah, I have my friend Freddie here from New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Do we have any New Yorkers here? Oh, we got a couple of New York folks. All right, very good. And we moved out here actually in September of last year. We just moved out. My son decided he wanted to go to school out here. We only have one child. My wife said, I can't be that far away. So I said, okay, we'll suffer and come to Southern California and get away from the bad weather in New York. So that's what we did. But I'm originally from Brooklyn, and that's where my life began. And when I was about 9 years old, we moved to Queens. So those of you who know New York at that time, that was like a big upgrade, because you went from all concrete to a little bit of grass, but that was a big deal back then. So we were, kind of growing up middle class. My dad was a New York City cop who became a narcotics detective. Unfortunately, when I was 12 years old, my dad passed on the job in a violent incident. And when that happens to you, it really shakes up your life. And all of us have had incidents that happened to us that were very, upsetting or dramatic or shattering, whether it was a divorce or someone got sick or maybe someone passed away who was close to you. So for me, being a kid from New York and being a very aggressive kid, and I grew up, of course, my last name is Italian, yes, and I am from Brooklyn, yes, so that means you better be nice to me. But, I know I have to keep bringing that up, right? I'm setting this back. But, I felt this feeling when my dad passed that I had to take care of everybody, so I had to go to work. So I didn't even think about going to college. I said, I better go to work right away. I better get out there. I better start making money. And I started off actually driving a truck. I was driving a truck delivering beer, and I was making good money. But I always noticed one thing, that the people we knew who were very successful and had a lot of money owned a business. So I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. That's what I want to do. And I was 19 years old, and I said, I'm going to start my first business. And I did. I bought a soda delivery business, and I was going to go out, and my plan was to retire by 30. That was my big plan. So it was a good plan at the time. It seemed like a good plan back at that time. But my mentality, like many of us here, and your belief system, which I'm going to talk to you about today, it was all about working hard. And that's, how many of you learned that? You gotta work hard, you gotta work hard. This is what I learned. So if you work hard, you put in a lot of energy and effort, you get up every morning, you do your best, you're guaranteed to be successful. Well, I will tell you that I found out that is not true. Anybody else find that out as well? So I went out and I had a very, very aggressive New York kind of style, and I was gonna get up and work a lot of hours and put in a lot of energy and effort. And even though I didn't go to college, I was always reading books about success and business and what to do, and Think and Grow Rich. You've all read that book, I'm sure many of you all know that book from Napoleon Hill. And I read everything I could get my hands on. I went to classes, I had a house full of tapes and listened to stuff all the time. So I'm out there doing all this work and working really hard, and long story short, by the time I was 30 years old, instead of being retired, I had been through 2 bankruptcies. So after the second bankruptcy, actually right before that, I started to say to myself, something's wrong with this picture. Now, there's a couple of things about human beings that are really good. There's something in energy that we talk about, the yin-yang, the positive, negative. And every positive thing you do has a negative aspect. So for me, one of my things that I'm very good at is really being persistent and never giving up. Anybody have that? It's great in certain cases, it's not in others. So I said I would not give up. I was going to keep doing what I was doing. I was going to keep forging forward, but it didn't matter. No matter what I did, I couldn't get myself past this issue of struggling with my business and finances. So finally, out of really pure desperation and panic, I decided to go to therapy. Now, just so you understand this, Italians from Brooklyn who start off driving trucks do not go to therapy. All right? This is not on the menu at the Sunday dinner table. Hey, let's talk about your feelings. Let's talk about what's going on, you know, because in those days, like my father passed, it was like, okay, go on with your life. There was no, you didn't do counseling for kids or anything. You just kind of went and did it. So that got me moving in a different direction. I started seeing the world in a different way. Then I started to learn about energy, and I started to learn about meditation, and I started to learn about these metaphysical principles, and I started to learn about karma. And then I met, and as you're going through process like we all do in life, I met all different teachers. I met yoga teachers, I met enlightened people, and my last teacher was actually an enlightened master, which I did not know when I met her. And when I met her, she said, Joe, I'm going to show you how to do something really powerful. It's going to help you change your life. She said, but it's going to be something that's going to take time and you're going to really have to work on it. But then you're going to actually be able to go out and teach other people how to do it. And she said, your problem is your energy's blocked. And she said that the real issue behind it is you have blocked chakras. Does anybody know what chakras are? Okay. So this was me, basically. A few people do know what it is. So now for you men in the room, the only word I heard was blocked. Is that a good word for us? We don't like that word. That's not a good word for guys, blocked. So chakras, if you're not familiar, are energy points in your body that run from the crown of your head to the base of your spine. They hold energy. And it's an ancient Sanskrit, ancient Indian word that means spiral. So what she said was you're holding energy that goes out into the world, and that energy is actually creating your life. And then she said something to me that I'll never forget that I still have never gotten over, just so you know. She said to me, what you're doing is not that important. And I almost had an actual heart attack when she said it to me, because my whole life was about doing something. Anybody here? You got to do something. You want to be successful. You have to go out and do something. So I said, do you mean I don't have to do anything? She said, I'm not saying that. But she said, you think it's all about what you're doing, but it's really all about what you feel and what you believe. So I'm going to show you how to change internally, and then what happens is you change your what's called vibrational field of energy. And then what happens is as you change your vibrational field of energy, you start to attract different things. This is all tied into something called the law of attraction. Has anybody ever heard that before? So the law of attraction is based on energy and vibration. Say whatever you feel, you vibrate out and you attract that in. And that means every single minute of your life, you're vibrating energy and you're attracting stuff in. So that means everything that's happening is your fault. Or everything that's happening is your joy, your truth, your positive side. So if you win the lottery, you did it. If you get hit by a car, you did it. Now, this is also a very hard thing for us to do because all of us Italians in Brooklyn are big victims. Anybody here? Nothing was ever their fault. It was everybody else's fault. And we're trained and conditioned this way to be victims because what did you learn growing up? If something went wrong, did people say, yes, it's my thing? Then we watch politicians, then we watch business people, then we watch all these people come up, and no matter what happens, does anybody get up on the news and say, you know what, I screwed up, it's my fault? Does anybody do that? You ever see a politician get up there and say, I screwed up the whole thing? And my favorite guy was, remember we had the BP oil spill? And that guy, because now you can't say anything because it goes right on YouTube in 1 second. And the guy came on, he was talking somewhere and he said, you know, I wish this would be over with, it's really interfering with my life. He was the CEO. And I'm like, you just ruined like 9 million people's lives over there, and you're worrying about yourself. See, and everybody saw that, and actually a few months later he was like, oh, he resigned or whatever they said, but he was gone. So what's happening is for us is we have to shift out of everything that we learned growing up, and this was very traumatic for me. Because everything I learned was, it's not my fault, work hard, all these beliefs had to be shifted, and all your beliefs and all these feelings are anchored in stuff that happened to you when you were a little kid. It didn't happen to you last week, it happened to you a long time ago, so that's why it's hard to get to it and it's hard to see it. So what I want to talk about today a little bit is an issue that always came up with us, which was the issue of karma. And everybody's heard the word karma, right? We've all heard that word a million times. I did not really understand karma until I got into this work. It was really interesting. So I always thought karma was, tell me if you agree, you reap what you sow. Everybody, right? If you do good stuff happens to me. If I do bad stuff happens to me. Is that true? Yes, but it's not the whole definition. So the definition of karma really is this. I'll give you kind of my definition based on the work I've done, which is your karma is the blueprint for the emotional journey you're here to have. Now, if you notice in life, you're going to notice a couple of things. There are certain people who certain areas of their life are absolutely spectacular. You know people like that? Now, we know people who have good business karma. Does anybody know those people? Does anybody here have good business karma? Everything you do works? You never have any issues? You know people like that? They always make the right investment. They sell at the right time. They make a mistake and they make money. You know those people? Aren't they irritating? They're a little annoying, aren't they? So, what that means is, in this lifetime, they did not come to have an issue with business or money. But they may have an issue with health. They may have an issue with relationships. They may have an issue with something else. So what it really is about is you came to have an experience. So for me, I came to have bad business karma. Now when I say that, people say, well, why would you do that? I said, it doesn't make sense because does life make sense? No. The world doesn't make sense. This is one of our big problems. How many of you are very sensible?
I'm scared to raise my hand.
You got to knock that off right away. You got to stop. Because the reason being sensible is so bad is because it drives you crazy, doesn't it? Because you're sitting there saying, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Why is this person doing this? Why is this person? It doesn't make sense. It'll drive you nuts. So what you want to understand is you're here to have an emotional experience. If you're struggling in any area of your life, and we're talking about business today, that means you have unresolved issues and beliefs tied to that part of your life. How many of you would like to make a hell of a lot more money this year? What if I told you you don't? I'm going to tell you why you don't. In your belief system, what do you have to do to make a lot more money? Work a lot harder. How many of you want to do that? Ah, we have a conflict. Because nobody got up this morning and said, I hope I really have to work 100 times harder this year. Anybody get up and say that? So I see a guy, I'm at a seminar this weekend. I was actually at a total health seminar, really interesting stuff about diet, what we're eating, and it was terrifying and good at the same time. But because basically when I left there, I said, I can't eat anything. Because after I left, this guy's like super like crazy stuff. But you walked out and said, everything I asked him, I said, can I eat this? No. Can I eat this? No. Can I eat? I said, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? Lick the grass? What do I do? I didn't know what to do. But anyway, I see a guy that I know there, and I say, hey, Jerry, he's a consultant. I said, how you doing? How's business? What's going on? He said, well, Joe, you know how it is these days. I'm working twice as hard to make the same money. How many of you believe that? That's what you believe. So if you believe that, is it true? But is that actually true? It is and it isn't. It's true for him. and it's not true for you. So the problem with us is as we're trying to go forward, we have all these subconscious conflicts. Like, I want more money, but I don't want to have to do all this work. Or I want more money, but I'm afraid that if I have a lot of money, something bad's going to happen to me. One guy came to me, who's my favorite guy of all time. I'm doing this seminar in New York City years ago, talking about this topic. And the guy comes up in the break and he says, Joe, I want to tell you something right now. I don't want a lot of money. I said, okay. You know, he was like really pissed. You know, he was like upset. That's a New York thing. We always say he's pissed off. Somebody's always pissed off in New York. So I said, well, that's fine. You don't have to have. I'm not forcing you to have a lot of money. I'm just showing you things you can do. So I said, well, can I ask you why you don't want to have a lot of money? And he said, because my concern is every single person I know is going to ask me for a loan. But that was his unconscious feeling about having a lot of money. So for you, you've got to say to yourself, what do I want to create? See, because it's really about creation. It's not about work. It's not about money. Because is money going to give you everything you want? No. So we want to shift your focus away from that and move you into a different place, and then you can start to elevate your energy and start to create something in a much more positive way. We get too focused on that. And really, to me, I think business, especially in our country now, obviously whatever's happening with the economy, business has gotten really we've lost the fun of it. Anybody having fun? People are not having enough fun. They get up every day, they go to work. I would see people come up to me at events and say, hey, how you doing? Joe, I'm killing myself. Now think about this every day. If you get up in the morning, and the first thought you have when your 2 feet hit the floor is, I have to go to work today, I'm killing myself. How do you think your day's gonna go? How many people get up every single day in that energy, in that feeling, in that belief, I'm killing myself. I'm killing myself to do everything. I have to work 3 times harder to make the same money. See, these are all the things that are holding you hostage. So what we call this in the karmic world is we call it a karmic wheel or karmic cycle. We would discuss it here as a pattern of behavior. Anybody here have patterns of behavior? Okay. Let's talk about my favorite one because it's the most obvious one, and it'll really show you how this is affecting the whole world, especially our country. Especially after coming up this weekend, but I've been doing this research for years. One of the biggest issues we have in our country right now is obesity. Okay, it's a huge issue for us in the United States. So, last year, we spent in this country about $61 billion with a B dollars to lose weight. How are we doing? Good? But I want you to understand how important this is. We spent $61 billion to lose weight, and we gained weight. Did you know that 30% of 9-month-old children are now overweight? Did you know that 1/3 of our population is considered obese? 1/3! So now, let's think about this for a minute. Because, is weight loss complicated? No. It's very simple. If I walked out on the street right now and I grabbed 100 people and I said, what's the key to losing weight? They're all going to say the same thing. Eat less, exercise more. Is this complicated? Do I need 9,000 infomercials and machines and diets to tell me that that's what I need to do? Because I'm waiting for some guy to come on TV and say, all you have to do is stand up and you're going to lose 20 pounds. Because that's what we want. We don't want to do anything. But it's not complicated because you know what to do. It's a physical thing. If I reduce my caloric intake and I exercise more, or even if I walk around the block once, I'm going to start losing weight. So the question is this. If we know this, if we're spending $60 billion, why are we getting fatter? Why are we getting fatter? And I'm going to tell you why, because we're attacking it from the wrong place, which is the effect and not the cause. Everything in this life is cause and effect, but we attack the effect. So the minute I think I don't have enough money coming in, what do I do? What's that? Try to get more money, but how do I do it? I work harder, I get a second job. I stay later at work. Right? Whatever I think I don't have. Whatever I'm chasing, I'm chasing. right? So what is it? Why can't we lose weight? Because we're chasing the effect, which is I'm fat. That is not the cause. The question is, why am I fat? Why am I broke? Why is my business struggling? Why can't I get in a good relationship? It all comes back to the same thing. You're trapped in a cycle of energy based on 3 key feelings that we all share, and they must be dealt with if you're going to make changes in your life. I'm going to share this with you. This is a very powerful thing. It's simplistic. And I want to tell you something. All this stuff that I've learned, I'll tell you what's the scariest part of it. It's kind of like weight loss. It's so simplistic, but we can't do it. Or I shouldn't say we can't. We choose not to do it, but it's not complicated. So there are 3 core feelings that really block us and hold us back. The first one is fear. Now, just so you know, every person on earth has all 3 of these feelings at some different levels and degrees. Okay, so the first feeling that we all share is fear of something. Now, one of the things that when I work with people in this area, I talk to them about your fear is not being where you are. Your fear is the other side of the rainbow. Meaning, you know how to be fat, you don't know how to be skinny. You know how to be poor, you don't know how to be rich. You're afraid of that feeling. Because you're saying to yourself, I don't know how to do that. See, but you know how to do what you do, right? You know how to go eat 12 donuts. You don't know how to eat a salad. Because you know how to do that. You know how to have no money. You don't know how to have money. It's going to feel different. Are you going to feel different if you have $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million? Are you going to feel different? So you got to deal with those feelings. That's the first feeling. The second feeling is shame. We all have shame based on growing up. Now, there's 2 types of shame. Healthy shame, unhealthy shame. What's healthy shame? My son came home and he stole something from the store. He didn't do it. She's like, oh my God, I see that face. She's looking at me like, he did? No, I'm like, he didn't. Now, when he comes home and says, hey, Dad, look, I stole some steaks for dinner. Now, if I say, hey, way to go, that's probably not going to be good, right? He's going to become John Dillinger or something. When he goes, he's going to say, well, my dad said that was good when I stole those steaks. So healthy shaming is me saying, no, you can't do that. You got to bring those steaks back. You have to go back. You can't do that. Now, but we, unfortunately, got unhealthy shaming. Unhealthy shaming is every time you open your mouth, somebody told you to shut up. Did anybody happen to you? Hey, Mom, I got a problem. Go shut up. Sit that over there. That's unhealthy shaming. Anytime you tried to express your feelings, what happened? Anytime you had a problem, what happened? Anytime you said, hey, Dad, I need a few bucks, what happened? How many of you knew that if you asked for money after a couple of times, you better never do it again? Anybody? Why do you think you can't receive it? What did you learn? If I ask for it, I'm not going to get it. Now, are little kids smart? Oh yeah, they're much smarter than us, by the way. Because they're not all mucked up. I love working with young kids because I can help them clear much faster than us because we have so much crap to clear out, they don't. But little kids learn, hey, you know what? If I went and I asked my father for money 2 or 3 times and he got really upset, they know, they say, I'm going to shut that down. I can't ask anymore. Now, you don't understand that, how that affected you as you got older. Now, how many of you have a problem receiving? How many of you can't receive a compliment? Who struggles with a compliment? Anybody? Who struggles with that? Who's somebody who struggles? Oh, good, I got somebody else. She's like, oh my God, I raised my hand. Now you're going to be in trouble. Would you stand up for a minute? Phyllis? Phyllis, I knew I was zoned in on you right away. When I first got here, I had a vibrational feeling right here. So Phyllis, doesn't Phyllis look fabulous today?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
How does it make me feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You're
Thank
embarrassed.
I am.
Okay, thank you. So you feel embarrassed?
Yes.
Okay, so why do you feel embarrassed?
I think it has all to do with upbringing.
Okay. But what is the feeling you have right away? Uncomfortable?
Yes, very.
Okay, thank you, Phyllis. So, what's that?
We love your discomfort.
She's not going to raise her hand again. That's it. All right, we're almost done. Don't worry about it. So anyway, now let's talk about this issue because this is a big issue for us to receive. Now, really, what it comes down to is receiving is about receiving love. It could be money. It could be a hug. It could be a compliment. It's all love at the end of the game. Could be money, could be anything else. So now you're growing up as you're getting older, and you're saying, I feel embarrassed when I receive something. I feel uncomfortable when I receive something. So recently, my new book, which I have in the back, Karma Buster, which is the book that I'm talking about, that book, we got an opportunity that came out of nowhere to have that book as a gift in this year's Academy Award gift bags. And the book was actually a gift, and we got invited to the W Hotel for a show right before the big show to meet all the vendors, and there was some publicity people there, and we took all pictures and did all this stuff. So my wife and I go together, we do work together. So we go there, and when we're going to leave, they said, oh, where's your ticket? I said, here it is. She goes, here's your gift bag. It was this big, gigantic gift bag. I mean, I get thousands of dollars of stuff. We didn't expect it. All kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, and all these vendors had, there was nail polishes, all kinds of stuff. Boxes of food that they delivered to your house. I can't even say, it was thousands of dollars of stuff. So we get home, and my wife said, so we get home, we have this thing on the table, we take this bag, and we're taking all this stuff out. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden she kind of stops, and she said, I feel really guilty getting this bag. Now, it was part of what we were getting. No, it wasn't taken, but you see, her immediate feeling, because of her upbringing, was she felt guilty. So for us, now imagine you want to expand your business, you want to move to a higher level, you want to be in a good relationship, whatever you want to do, you can't receive. Bad enough you can't ask. How many of you can't ask? How many people have never asked for a favor in their life? Right? I don't want to ask for any favors. I had one guy come up to me, he's my favorite guy of all time. He said, I never asked for a favor. I said, why? He said, I don't want to owe anybody. Is that a belief system issue or what? That is a big belief system issue. So for us, we have to understand that what's triggering everything for me is based on all this old stuff. I'm stuck in this cycle. And my cycle is I keep doing the same thing over and over again, but it's not your fault because you're not doing it consciously. Because nobody woke up this morning and said, I really want to be fat, ugly, broke, alone, and have nowhere to live. Did anybody get up and say that this morning? Nobody consciously said it. And this is also the reason we're stuck, is because we consciously are trying to solve problems that we cannot solve here. The only thing your conscious mind does is bring it to your attention. You want to solve it, you've got to go inside. You got to get down to the bottom. Now, I told you I was going to give you 3 words, I'll give you the last one. People are like, did you forget that? Don't worry, I never forget. It just wheels back around and goes around so proud. The last one is unworthiness, which is tied to what we just did. Your feeling is unworthiness. So you've got to start practicing loving yourself and being worthy. How does that happen? How do I do that? I have to start to become a better receiver. So when someone comes up to me and says, you look great, Phyllis, what should you say? Thank you. Now, what's that? Thank you. I already know that, Fred. But I appreciate you saying it. See, so now, in a different energy, my expectancy is, I am going to receive. Our expectancy is, I'm not. In a higher vibration, and when I love myself more, and Pat says, hey Joe, I love those shoes. Aren't they nice, Pat? Just say it. That's all right. They're okay. They're not okay. They're nice, Pat. Just say that. I'm going to say, thank you, Pat. You're damn right. Because I need to absorb that. And here's what happens. As you start to absorb more positive energy, what do you think you want? More positive energy. As people start doing you favors, as your life starts getting easier, because you think life is hard, isn't it? That's what we all learn. Life is a struggle. Life is difficult. You got to work hard. It's very hard. Can't get ahead. Think about your parents' conversations in the house. That's a scary one, isn't it? Think about your parents' conversations about money. Think about your parents' conversations about what they were doing. Think about this every single day. You absorbed all this stuff over and over and over again. So for you to make changes, my whole thing with people is this. I want to give you tools, and I want to show you how to make changes that stick. It's not about writing goals down. It's not about doing affirmations in the mirror. It's not about creating a vision board. It's all good. You can do all that stuff. But I'm telling you now, you must change it internally. And there are processes that you have to go through to do that. The first one is this, and I'm going to tell you all an exercise you can do right away. When you leave here today, I want you to say to yourself, I'm going to ask somebody for a favor. See how you feel. How many of you are going to feel guilty? Right? I'm going to feel guilty. But think about the opposite. When somebody asks you for a favor, how do you feel? You do it right away. You don't have to think twice. Why shouldn't it be the same? See, we got a bad deal. One of the worst things that ever happened to us was growing up as a kid. We all learned an expression. It's better to what?
Give than receive.
Who the hell made that up? That's right. Why is it better? No, it's better to give, right? The idea is it's better to. Why is it better? See, why you just say it's great to give it? I want to change it. It's great to give and receive, isn't it? Why is it better? Because now my belief system says I'm good when I give, I'm bad when I get. That's what's wheeling around in your subconscious all day long. I'm good when I give, I'm bad when I get. So all those little things that are happening to you are energy that comes up. Every time a situation comes up, one of those things comes bang, comes right up to your front. One of those things jumps right in front of your head and says, boom. You can't receive a compliment. You can't get that. You don't deserve that. You should feel guilty. You're unworthy. You're ashamed of yourself. You have fear. It keeps popping all that stuff up. As you start shifting internally, you start to receive. That Academy Award opportunity, it was not anywhere on my radar screen. A friend of mine called me up. She said, Joe, I have a new book. I have a publisher. She's looking for somebody to add another book to the Academy Award thing that she's doing. She wants to do a spiritual type book. Can you get books in 2 weeks? I didn't try to create that. It came to me because I felt worthy of receiving it. That was not always the way. My first option is go bankrupt. Right? That's what I did. I just kept going bankrupt. Because my feeling is, if I'm feeling unworthiness, what's a good way to reinforce my belief system? Go bankrupt. It's like when I see women who say, I'm having a hard time meeting somebody. It's why? Because what do you think, every guy I meet cheats on me. Well, what do you think you're going to bring into your life? Business is hard. Yeah, see, these are all the things that you keep cycling around and around until you get underneath it. You're never going to be able to move forward. And that's the key to going forward. So I do have in the back, if you want to see me at the end, I have the book, my Karma Buster book, and I have some other programs here. I also do webinars and trainings online. Anybody ever been to a webinar? You do it on the internet? We do webinars on a regular basis. We have a Karma Buster one. And actually tonight I'm doing a free one. If you'd like to join the webinar tonight, the website to register is impactphoneseminars.com. So if you want to check that out, you can do that. But I will be in the back later if you have any questions. I also do training and consulting and all that kind of stuff as well. So I want to thank you so much, but I'd like to take any questions. If anybody has a question before we go. Yes, you are George, go ahead.
He feels better now, too, I think.
He does feel better.
So I drive by the corner of Hancock and Washington maybe 3 or 4 times a day. And there's this old homeless man standing with it says that former vet, please help, something good. So I reach out to my change, where the money is.
Right, in the bar.
Thing.
Yeah.
I say to myself, that looks like a good deal, you know what I mean? Give him something. So I go like this, I'm ready to give it to him, and I say, oh, no. He needs to go and work. He needs to go and make a living. He needs to do this. So I drive by to Washington, and I'm guilty as hell that I didn't give him the change.
Right.
So
So I don't know what your question is, because other than the fact that you feel guilty, what is your question?
I feel guilty.
Okay.
The guilt wins over my intent. My intention is to give it to him. I really would like to give it to him.
So my question is, why don't you give it to him?
Well, because I feel like he has to go and work like I do.
So you're judging him? Okay, so that's what it is. That's your judgment.
It's like,
No, it's your belief system is, hey, that guy's a bum. He should go to work. What the hell's wrong with him?
That's exactly.
Now, the reason that I love this work is my ego, I said when I was first starting out in this work, I was high testosterone, low brain power. Okay? As I did this more and you work with so many people and you see the pain that people are in, and my first thought when I see a guy like that in the street is, what happened to him to get that guy there? See, but your belief system and judgment says he should go to work, he's a bum. That's what you learned, and you went to work and you took care of yourself. But something in that guy didn't allow that to happen. See, so now what we do is, if we really want to elevate ourselves, because what blocks most of our energy is the judgment, the negative judgment blocks all your energy. So your gut instinct is, because our gut instinct as human beings is what? Help each other. That's really your gut feeling. Your higher self, right, your true spiritual self is saying, hey George, help this poor guy out, give him $1. It's not going to change your life, it may change his life. But you won't give it to him. So now you leave there, and then your soul starts saying, come on George, loosen up, man. Right, of course. So now you got to take the judgment off it, and just give him that. So now the next thing you should do is actually, next time you see the guy, is give him $1.
That guy on the corner is George's brother.
Now we know why George is not giving him the money. Okay.
Would you talk a little bit about the well, what do you want to call it? I don't know if it's a process or whatever of worry in people's lives, and what kind of a motivator worry is in people's lives. I don't think it's a positive one, but I'd like to hear what you say.
Okay. So worry is tied into everything you define in your life that's negative is tied to one of those three feelings. So worry is me projecting fear forward. Because most worry is based on something that hasn't happened, correct? Right? So you see people say, oh, I have to go on a plane, I hope it doesn't crash. You don't even get up, that's so when you think about worry, what I'm worrying about, really I'll tell you the way to stop worrying. It's very simple, it's hard to do. All you have to do is be present. Because right now, is everything okay?
Yep. The plane will crash.
Right, I'm not even on a plane right now, right? Doesn't matter. But I'm saying right now, you're fine. So you're projecting fear forward. Worry is all about projecting fear forward. Based on, now also you have to understand something. If your history is bad, if you say, wow, every guy I go out with cheats on me, and then I go out on a date, how do I feel? What am I feeling? He's going to cheat on me. What's he going to do? He's going to cheat on me. Now here's what happens. Here's where your negative ego loves you. Your negative ego wants to be right. How many of you want to be right? Does anybody want to be wrong? Okay, now, your negative ego loves to be right. So what you do unconsciously is, you keep doing the same thing to reinforce your belief system so you can be right. So I'm going to keep going out with the same kind of people, I'm going to keep doing the same types of things, and then I'm going to be able to say, you see, that SOB did it again. I'm right. And then, here's what we all do, because everybody loves this. Well, this is more Italians, but what they want to do is they want to get a group together for a group validation. Anybody want to do that? The Italians like to do it. All sit around and say, okay, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what George did. And everybody can say, George, that bastard. You say that now. George didn't give that guy $1, that SOB, right? But good question. Anybody else? Question? Thank you. We're good? We're good. Thank you so much, folks. I'll see you back if you have any questions.
Oh, I didn't realize, Joe, that you were at strategic planning meeting this morning. Thank you very much. That was an excellent presentation. Reminders. Immediately following this meeting, youth activity. And on Monday, the 7th, membership, 6 p.m. right here at the office. And with that, meeting adjourned.
Every speaker I've ever brought in.
Yeah, he's got a kid.
Unbelievable. Charles Severia brought in our guest speaker. Every speaker I've ever brought into this club has been fantastic. So, Joe, you're hired.
Thank you, everybody.
Very, very good.
Great.
There you go. See, you got a nice motivational talk.
That guy's
Very good. Give me a couple minutes to kind of say goodbye to these little folks.
I know. It's funny. I was thinking that.
Somewhere all right, John.
I want him to be around.
Good to see you. Hope to see you up on the roof on June 30th. It's Saturday. We'll give you there's no sun at 4 o'clock. You're in the shade.
Make sure the sun's out.
Oh yeah, the sun will be down. The building is in the way.
After 3 o'clock, it's always hazy anyway.
Exactly. Well, hopefully not on June 30th. We'll see.
I do them from